Highlanders, you probably have in your life somebody that you love. Be it a mother, wife, daughter, sister, brother, son, grandparents, whatever it may be, you probably have somebody who you really truly love. And you also probably have people in your life who you have a sort of secondary love for. Distant family members and close friends. Now I want you to think about that feeling of close love with people and apply it to someone in Korea, for example, or Bangladesh or Nigeria. Someone whose name you don't know and someone whose face you don't know, who you've never seen before in your entire life. Can you really feel that same sort of love connection with these people? The answer is no. The answer is absolutely, without dispute, no, because human beings are not made to love universally. We are made to love, and we are physically capable of loving only on an exclusive level. This thought comes initially from the writing of Jack Donovan in the book Becoming a Barbarian. Fantastic book, fantastic author. He's a great philosopher and a great thinker in general. I highly recommend you go check out his literature ASAP. We've all heard the John Lennon hippy-dippy bullshit story of love is my religion, I love everybody in the world equally, and we've all been taught that that's the way that we are meant to think. And the problem is that's failing because that's not the way the human mind works. We are made to be able to have a close relationship with about 50 to 150 people. And we are made to have very close relationships, if you will, with about 5 people outside of our family. Those 5 people and those 50 to 100 people are the groups of people who we are able to give primary and secondary love to. You cannot physically give that kind of love to everybody in the world. You can't even give that kind of love to everybody in a nation. Because we are tribal beings. We are meant to exist within small societies, and past the level of a few hundred people, the number of people that we're dealing with becomes almost arbitrary because it's nearly infinite to us, especially when we get to the global level. Being that there are about 7.5 billion people in the world, that may as well be 1 million people, that may as well be 80 billion people. It doesn't make a difference because it is just about infinite to us. Our minds aren't able to comprehend having that many relationships with people because we physically could not in our lifetime have that many relationships. And I think it's safe to say that you need to develop a relationship with someone to actually feel emotions of love towards them. Now, I've actually calculated this. It takes about 1 second to say the phrase, I love you. Let's say that is what is required to actually love somebody, just to say to them, I love you. Now, assuming that it takes 1 second to say that, it would take, without rest or breaks or sleep or eating, about 103 years to say I love you to half the population of the world as it is right now. Who knows how big the population will be in 103 years? It's grown exponentially. We don't know when it'll stop. It would take well beyond the maximum lifespan of a human being to say I love you to every human being in this world. And knowing that you cannot tell me that you really love and care about every single human being. We don't have the emotional capacity to do that, nor do we have the mental capacity. Assuming that we were capable of really truly loving everybody, then what would be the point of love? What would be the value of love? Love is given value because of its exclusiveness and because it does take work and development and effort, be it subconscious or not. It takes development to gain these loving relationships with people because it's meant to be an exclusive thing. And this ties into politics in many ways. I'm not going to get into how because that's a lot of talking to do. That's another video for another time. But keep this in mind when dealing with politics. We do not truly love everybody in the world. You could say that you love everybody. You could say that, absolutely. I could also say that I am 3 feet tall and 550 pounds. Doesn't make it true. It's just pure sensationalism, and in all actuality, it's bullshit. Now, don't get me wrong. This is not the same as saying I do not have goodwill for the whole world, because that is possible. Goodwill is defined as simply friendly and cooperative feelings and attitudes. You can be willing to cooperate and be friendly to everybody in the world. That's perfectly fine and possible. You cannot actually, in effect, cooperate with everybody in the world because you don't have the time in your lifespan to do that. But you can have goodwill and good intentions for everybody in the world. And this can be expressed through things like environmental efforts, in fighting pollution or global warming if you happen to believe in it, because that does affect the entire world, and you are doing something, an act of goodwill to the entire world when you do these globally beneficial acts. But you don't have to love somebody to do something good for them. You have goodwill for them, and I don't doubt that many of you do, as I like to believe that I do, but that doesn't mean that you truly love them, and that's what I want you guys to take away from this, is you don't love everybody in the world, and if you did, then love would be of no value. Love exclusively, but love passionately and powerfully, and regardless, have goodwill towards at least the majority of humanity. There's a certain few people in everybody's life that they don't appreciate, don't care for, and don't necessarily have goodwill for because they've done terrible, disgusting things. Think like Angela Merkel, or like Kim Jong-un, or Stalin. But overall, remember, you do have the ability to have goodwill to all of human beings, and express that and do things for the whole of humanity, as well as focused efforts for just the people of your tribe. Because it's the people of your tribe that you truly, really love, and it's those people who you should make focused efforts towards. With that sort of mentality, we can have both global efforts and local efforts to improve the standard of living and generally express goodwill towards the whole of humanity, and as a species and as humans, as well as individual communities and even just families, we can, as a whole, keep rising.